Hello everyone, now I'm here with my next video of class as the basis of all computation. Whatever we are doing in Java, because Java follow OOPS concept and the basic principle of OOPS were class and object. Everything what we are going to do in Java, each and everything is based on class and objects. You all have studied about class and object deeply. You all had studied, but in this something we have that is hidden from you. Something I'm going to tell you that is hidden from you. Few innovative things I want to tell you. What are they? See, class. First of all, few things what you all know. Still, I'm telling you. Class is basic principle of OOPS. You all know. And class is a blueprint, prototype, auto sketch, or template for an object. If you are thinking to create something new which is not yet done by anyone, means some invention, some ideas inside in our mind, that idea is class. And if I had applied that idea and something is created in this world, and that world is going to follow that, and then again the same creation is followed by different kind of person, then the live appearance of my idea is object. If you are talking about a concept book, first time when it is invented, that time the idea behind a person's mind, that idea is class. And when that book is to be published and is present in the hand of a person, then that book is object. The live existence of a class is object. That's why for an object, class is a blueprint, prototype, auto sketch, or we can say it as template. You all know when we have to buy a flat, the builder what they are doing. Firstly, they have an engineer who create an auto sketch of that flat. In that builder, that builder do, by using one sketch, by using one blueprint, that builder is going to create so many flats of same size, of same, each and everything is same. All the flats were object, and that blueprint is class. I think you are able to understand with the different kinds of example I'm telling you class and object. Class contain data that can be global, or we can say the new thing what you are going to understand, that class contain three things, that is data, function, and constructor. Previously you all know that class is a combination of data and function, but now one thing I'm going to introduce you, that is constructor. And one more thing I'm going to introduce you, that data can be global, can be local. Previously what you had started, that is local one, but now with the help of this video we are going to know about global variables also. And for constructor I'm going to create another video, because this is in the next chapter, constructor. But a few things I want to tell you about constructor. It is like a function, but name of constructor is same as class, and the basic role of constructor is to initialize global variables. First of all, what is global variables? A variable which is available for all functions, which is defined before declaring a function, which is defined. Means when we are starting a class, we have to declare variable, then we have to declare a function. Then that variables were the global variables. When we are moving further, you are going to understand each and everything. Let's move further. See syntax. When we are having a class, we have some few syntax of that class. Means first one is access specifier. I told you earlier, access specifier provides us that if we are writing public or private or protected, these are access specifier which guide us whether the class or function or variable were accessed publicly or privately or in a protected way. Access specifier guide us. That's why we are applying that access specifier. If we are not writing, then public is by default access specifier which is placed with the class. Then we have a keyword that is class. Because we are going to create a class, that's why we have a keyword class. Then we have to write the name of a class. Then curly braces shows the scope of the class, means, or we can say it as a block which contains different kinds of statements. And in by declaring a class, after that inside a class what we have to write? Data type, variable name. These are our global variable. When we define variable after defining a class, when we define a variable before function, that is global variables, or we can say data members. Why it is data member? First of all, variables for data, and it is a member of a class, that's why it is data member. Then we have functions. We can have any number of functions, we can have any number of global data, and the function also known as methods, that's why we can say member method. Why it is member method? Because it is a member of a class, that's why it is member method. Then see, I'm moving further. Class is divided into two parts. You have to understand this. Class is divided into two parts, means the external wrapper, the outer part, and the inner part. Internal content, outer part or inner part, means what? See, when we have class, we are writing public class, then any class name, then curly braces open close. External means outer part. External wrapper means we are wrapping something from outside. It is external wrapper. This part is known as external wrapper. And what we are writing inside is internal contents. Means access specifier, class name, class keyword and class name with curly braces is external wrapper. And what we are writing in curly braces, that is internal contents. Now you are able to understand class is divided into two parts, that is external wrapper and internal content. Few things I want to tell you. Internal contents were again divided into three parts, that is data, function, constructor. I told you earlier also. Data can be divided into three parts. How? Data can be local. Previously, when we are writing a function, if we had written int a here, and then again we are declaring a function, we are not supposed to use a here because it is not in a particular scope. If we are writing a here, it provides us error. Why? Because a is declared here, it is present here, valid from here till here. but it is not valid here. That's why it is getting error. And int a is local variable. Then we have global. I told you that when we declare a class, that time if I'm writing int a and then I'm writing function, see function number 2, if I'm declaring in this way, a is available in this, a is available in this because a is global. Now class variable, when we are using static, it is class variable, means a global static variable were class variable. You all know function. Functions were known as methods also. And constructor. Constructor is same as class name. Constructor name is same as class name. When we declare a class name with function bracket open close, this is constructor, which is used to initialize global variable. See in this way. This is constructor we will study later. I'm going to create video for that. And now I'm moving further with another few lines about class. Class belongs to non-primitive data type. See, actually data type already divided into two parts. You all know that primitive, non-primitive. Primitives were predefined, non-primitives were user-defined. And class is non-primitive and predefined as well as user-defined also. We are using few classes, that is input stream reader, buffer reader. In these kinds of classes we are using. Then sometimes scanner we are using. These are predefined classes. And whatever programs we are creating, that were user-defined classes. And class is a non-primitive data type because it is a collection of data types. That's why it is also called composite data types. Composite always means collection. And class can also have so many objects inside it. That's why class is called object factory. And we can declare so many functions in a class so that it follows abstraction property. And that's why it is called abstract data type. Actually, it follows abstraction property. Abstraction is act of representing essential features and hiding background details. Means from main function we are going to have only features and we are hiding background details by using different functions. Main function will call function and the main function doesn't know anything about this function. We are hiding everything from main function. The same way class works as abstract data type. It follows the abstraction properties. That's why it is abstract data type. Now moving further, object. Object is basic principle of OOPS concept. You all know that. And the same thing, object should be unique. When so many students were sitting in a class, then if we want to identify a particular student, the name should be unique. Otherwise, few confusion will occur. When we are having same name of so many students, then how we are going to identify them? That's why something unique should be there to identify them. That's why object should be unique entity which follows characteristics and behavior of a particular class. Because I told you earlier, class is just a blueprint. Object is the live existence of a class. That's why object follow characteristics and behavior of a particular class. And that's why it is called instance of a class. All the followers were instance of a class, which is totally depend on class, and it is derived from class. It works for a class, it follows a class. That's why it is instance of a class. And we can say objects were created into two ways. First way is temporary object, second way is permanent object. The permanent object, see the writing syntax is class name object equals to new class name function bracket open close. This is line of instantiation, and this line indicates we are creating an object, and new keywords provide the memory to an object. But sometime when we are not supposed to create an object, sometime Java APIs create object for us, that is temporary object, new class name function bracket open close. If you remember, when we are running a program, that time we click on it, right click on it, one dialog box appears. In the second line, void main is written, and before that something is written here, new class name function bracket open close. That is a temporary object already created by Java APIs. Java API is BlueJ. BlueJ is Java API which allow us to run a program, Java program, application programming interface. See, few times Java APIs create object for us, and few times we can create object. When we remember temporary object syntax, we can create. But what you have to remember, this memory doesn't have any storage. That's why we can't use that. Memory doesn't have any name. That's why we can't use that memory again and again. That's why it is temporary. When we have a name of that memory, we can use it anywhere by the name only. That's why it is permanent. And one more thing I want to tell you, that object have its own memory which is provided by the new keyword. I told you class is a set of objects. Means if I am having a class ABC and I am going to create object of a class ABC in public static void main, and I had created object number 1, then object number 2, then object number 3, then object number 4. In this way, see, then the memory allocated to all the objects one by one with the help of new keyword. See, each and every object have its own memory. You have to remember few things, because board examination anything can be asked. We never blame anyone for that. That's why go with the basics. In detail, you have to study each and everything. Now I'm moving further. See, way of programming by using a class means we are using class always, but we can use a class in different ways. One is by using main function and another by without using main function. When we are using main function, that time, see what happened. When we have main function in our program, then we call static function by just writing name, because we have main function that is static, and static can call static only. And if we want to call non-static, we can have objects also. and we have to call all these functions with the help of main function. But when main function is not there, then what happen? Is it possible to run without main function? Yes, it is possible. When we don't have main function in our program, then we have to either create all function static, because static allow us to run function automatically. Either you have to create all functions static, or you can run it by using temporary object of Java APIs. Java API already provide us temporary object. Always we can run our program with the help of Java APIs. See, with the help of this example, I'm going to tell you how we are going to apply this. See, this question gave us each and everything, even the class name, data, methods, what we have to do. Each and everything is written in front of us. Just we have to follow it. Nothing we have to do. The most easiest thing is this one. See, everything is given. Read the question with me. Define a class electricity bill with the following specific. I'm using this question for with main and without main. I am going to change the class name so that you can identify what I am creating. I had created a name, with main and without main, but you have to write electricity bill here, because according to the question you have to write electricity bill. And see, the question name is electricity. In question we have name class, that is electricity bill, and the variables, the global variables we are having: n for name, unit for storing unit consumed, bill for storing amount of bill. These are global variables we have to declare after a class and before functions. See this, I declared all the variables. These are global variables before functions, after declaring a class. And then what we have to do? See, function start, member method start. First one is void except, then we have calculate, then we have print. First thing is void except name of customer, unit consumed. Means, see, void except scanner, name of a customer, unit consumed, stored in n, name, unit, consumed in units. And then the function were closed because this function have this much work. Then see the next function, void calculate, to calculate bill as per the following tariff. Were, when we have first 100 unit we have to charge 2 rupees. When we have next 100 unit we have to charge 3 rupees. When we have more than 200 units we have to charge 5 rupees. And see, when we have more than 200 units, then what we have to do? We have to charge 2.5 5%. Actually I had written 300 but it is 200 here. See, when we are having more than 200 we have to charge extra charge, extra tax we have to take, that as 2.5% of our bill. All these things we have to calculate with the help of calculate function. The smallest thing what we can do, that is we have to check whether our units were smaller than or equals to 100, then we have to charge rupees 20. For example, if my bill is of 50 units, then the charge will be per unit, that is 2, means 100 rupees I have to pay. In this way we have to calculate all these things. For next 100 means the previous 100 we are getting a charge that is 2, but if my charges is more than that 100, then what happened means from units, already 100 units I had paid for 2 rupees. First 100 I had already paid. After subtracting of 100 units means if I had consumed 150 units, means for first 100 I have to give a charge according to 2 rupees. But when we are subtracting 150 with the 100, the remaining 50 I have to give charge according to 3 rupees. Means whatever unit I had consumed, that is 150, I have to subtract 100 because I had already paid here, and then I have to pay rupees 3 for that. The remaining amount, that is 50, I have to pay for 50 units 3 rupees. For first 100 2 rupees, for next 50 3 rupees. In this way we have to write our logic. See, the same thing I'd use for first 100, just simply multiply 2. But if a units is more than 100, for example 150, then I told you what we have to write. Means a unit is greater than 100, smaller than equals to 200. Then previous 100 we have to pay 2 rupees, and unit minus 100 into 3 means for first 100 we have to pay 2 rupees, and after subtracting 100 from 150 we have to pay 3 rupees. That's why I written unit minus 100 here. And see, if our units were more than 200, what we have to do? We have to start pay rupees 500. Means if my units were consumed, that is 250 units, then what I have to do? Means first 100 I have to pay 2 rupees. Then for next 100 I have to pay 3 rupees. And then from I'd already paid 200 units. Means after subtracting 200 I have to pay rupees 5. Means only for 50 units I have to pay 5 rupees. In this way you have to create your logic. See, I had written the same line here. 100 into 2, 100 into 3, and for units minus 200 into 5 we have to pay. But one line is here 2.5 when the units were 200. Then 2.5% charge of our bill, whatever we are getting from our bill, we have to pay extra tax, that is 2.5%. But you have to remember, when we are removing percent, we have to divide by 5. We have to divide value with 100. See what happened. We are having our bill with us. See here, we have to find the bill with 2.5%, and we have to add it with the bill what we have previously, because it is a tax. 2.5 tax we have to add. Means bill into 2.5 upon 100. When we are going to find it out? percent of bill 2.5%. How we are going to write? Bill into 2.5 whole upon 100. In this way we have to find it out. And we have to add this with the original bill. Then we are getting the exact bill because we have to pay tax also. See, in this way. And then we have print, which is going to print the name, unit consumed, bill, and then we have to create main function, which call all the functions one by one. See, moving further, print is going to print name, units, bill, and then we are having our main function, which is going to call each and every function. But just remember, static and non-static, the difference between static and non-static. Static never call a non-static function with its name. It have to create object of a class. That's why I created object of the class. And then with the help of object, I'm going to call one by one. Each and every function is going to be called. Firstly, accept, then calculate, then print. One by one is going to call. And then when we run our with main class by clicking on void main, we are getting answer. That is, customer name is Neha Kanojia, unit is 250, and see, the output is in front of us, name of a customer, unit consumed, and the bill. And when we are not having our main function, because with the help of main function, we had run all the functions together. See here, all functions together we had run with the help of main function only. But when we don't have our main function, then what I have to do? See, I had created the same logic but without any main function. See, the same logic, nothing I do different, just removing main function from here. That's why the class name I written without main. Now see, when we don't have our main function with us, what we have to do? Always remember, Java API provide us a temporary object and we have to click on it, and then we are getting a temporary object in front of us. The corner, left corner, they're going to provide a box, red color box, so that we can visit that box. That temporary memory is created, and after clicking on it, after right clicking on it, we are getting this kind of menu, and where we have to click on one by one. Firstly, we have to click on accept. Then see what happened. One window is in front of us, terminal window. Then that time we have to enter the name of a customer and the unit consumed. Then the role of accept is end here, and see, after that again you have to visit the box. You have to click on calculate. Nothing will happen because calculate have a role that it have to calculate the values. That time nothing will happen, you are getting nothing. And then again you have to click on the same box, and then you have to click on print. And after clicking on print, something is visible, that is temporary window, terminal window, which is temporary for you all. It is in front of you all, so that you can see the values in this way: the name of a customer, the number of unit consumed, and the bill amount. In this way you can run your program without main function. You have to run with temporary object, and after clicking it one by one, you have to click, and then these activities happens. And this much for this video. If you have any doubt, then do consult with me. If you are able to understand, then please like it. And for now, thanks for watching. Goodbye and good luck.